it's an interesting one because most people sort of, used to have a goal of being a millionaire, and now it's like millionaire doesn't seem rich enough anymore. It's got to be like, be a billionaire in training or an apprentice billionaire. And so
What's up? This is Alaric Ong, and today I'm here with Brad Sugars. Now, Brad Sugars started the ActionCOACH brand in 1993 in Brisbane, Australia. Today, the company is ranked as the leading business coaching franchise by Entrepreneur Magazine, and ActionCOACH operates in over 80 countries and has more than 1,000 coaches around the world, coaching 15,000 businesses every week. The franchise has received numerous awards, including Fastest Growing Franchise, Franchisee Satisfaction, Best Overall Company, and has been named the #1 business coaching franchise in the world every year since 2004. So welcome to the show, Brad.
Hey, buddy, good to be here. Good to be with you.
Awesome. Maybe first off, we can talk about your new coaching program, like your new program that you're launching called the Apprentice Billionaire. What's it about? And yeah.
Well, it's an interesting one because most people sort of, used to have a goal of being a millionaire, and now it's like millionaire doesn't seem rich enough anymore. It's got to be like, be a billionaire in training or an apprentice billionaire. And so what we decided to do was bring people together and help them get the knowledge they need to actually go on that path. Most people, they have the goal, but they don't understand the path. They don't understand the steps to get there. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is build a community of like-minded, want to grow massive, want to build serious wealth people, and then give them the knowledge base to actually make that a reality. And what better way to do that than to get a group of them together that talk to each other online and build a community of people? Because I think together we all grow faster. If we all work together, we grow faster than if we try and do it just on our own.
Mm-hmm. And so what do people get as when they become a member?
Content, membership to the group, chats, live stuff with me online, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it's all sitting there right on the website, and I'm sure you'll give them the link and do all that sort of stuff.
I'll put a link.
It's ultimately the whole, when I wrote the book, Billionaire in Training, the philosophy was to give people an understanding of how billionaires are made. 'Cause there's a difference. Millionaires think differently to billionaires. There's, when I still remember when we first started doing 7 figures, and then we went to 8 figures and 9 figures as a company, and you start thinking, what's the difference in my thinking between then and now? And there's so many different ways that billionaires think relative to millionaires. And I think that's an important asset for people to learn and understand, because if you just take the very fundamental basics, a millionaire creates one business model and does it well. A billionaire takes that one business model and replicates it 1, 2, 1,000 times in different ways. For me, I'm great at franchising and licensing. And so that's why every business, and I'm currently 11 companies that I'm either the majority shareholder or major shareholder in, that I run. And if I look at all of them, it's the same model. I understand that model and how to do it, and then I move it across and do it all on multiple times. So,
wow, I'm writing so much notes as you're talking. Okay, great. And so I'm just gonna put a link in the description. And honestly, the marketing video is so good. Like when you compare Netflix and I'll just cut to the chase,
Yeah, because it's $7 a month. It's cheaper than Disney Plus. I mean, it's.
And let me just save you the trouble, okay? So this person died. This person was the main character.
Oh yeah,
all that kind of stuff. Okay, great. So now there's something I've been always asking, like I've been thinking for a long time, right? So I run my own business. I run a coaching business. I've got about 1,400 paid clients, paid students, and I've never taken debt to grow this business before, okay? But I've seen so many successful entrepreneurs, and they've taken like so much of debt, like a lot of them own a lot of debt when you look at their financial statements and everything. So do you think it is necessary for entrepreneurs to raise capital or take on debt to grow a huge business?
I mean, it's not necessary, but it helps. It's kind of like, you have these wealth people that teach, you can buy houses with no money down. Yeah, you can, but it doesn't mean you should. Look, ultimately, I think, and I go back to my beginnings,
Mm-hmm.
I sort of wore it as a badge of honor that I bootstrapped my way through this thing. I thought, I'm so good. I can do this without other people's money. I don't need investors. I don't need all that stuff. And the reality was that I just didn't know how to raise capital. So therefore I didn't raise capital. I think learning how to raise capital is something that a lot of people don't do, and therefore they never raise the capital. Ultimately, I think that when you raise capital, you're doing three main things. Number one, you're getting that money to grow faster, because speed growth requires capital. There's no two ways about it. You're buying customers, and as you're buying customers, you need capital to do that. You need capital to increase the staffing. You need capital to do the marketing. You need that capital, right? Second thing you do when you bring on capital is you bring on a partner. If you choose the right people to bring the capital from, then they will have connectivity that will increase the size of the business just naturally. Okay. And so I think it's really important to understand, you don't just pick someone to give you the money, you pick someone who has the connectivity as well as the money. And the third thing you do when you bring on capital is that you bring accountability to yourself. So let's imagine, like, I invested in your business, right? Let's imagine I invested in your business, and let's say I own 30% of your company, and we got on a board meeting every month. And I just actually interviewed Lord Sugar, the British billionaire. Mm-hmm. And he said, one of the interesting things he said is that all of his winners of The Apprentice, because he invests money in them starting a business, unlike the US version, all of his winners do better because every month they have to report to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you had to report to me every month and I asked you, well, why is it, hang on, why didn't we hit our targets? Or what's this? Where's these numbers? What's that? If I'm hitting you with those things every month, you're going to perform better. The biggest problem for most small business owners is that they are both the owner and the CEO, and they lie to each other on both counts. The CEO lies to the owner saying, oh, I did a great job today. And the owner lies by saying, yeah, you did. You know, if you employed someone to run your business, you would be harder on them than you are on yourself, is what basically is the majority of cases.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So ultimately, you don't have to, but I think it's a much faster way to grow if you want to do it. And if you write a good business plan, there's plenty of money out there. There's more capital out there now than there ever was before.
So which of your companies have you raised capital for?
We raise capital for basically every business. In most cases, we do it through bank financing. In some cases, we'll take on partners, but only when they're strategically aligned with what we're doing. Finance partners that are strategic aligned with us. But, you know, these, look, in the beginning, I needed the money. Now we can just grow ourselves. We have plenty of the money, so we don't need to raise the capital anymore. We just use our own capital to buy other businesses and stuff.
So even for your own coaching business, you also raise capital to grow that business?
We did in the beginning, but we used bank finance for that one. We didn't actually use it. But we also, see, you got to remember, franchising is its own form of financing. So franchising is a way of raising capital because every franchise partner that joins you brings their own capital to the game to build out that territory. So the working capital comes from the franchise partner that joins there rather than from the corporate entity. So there's multiple ways of raising capital, and franchising is one of those ways. Joint venturing is another way. Sometimes licensing can be that. You know, it doesn't just have to be the actual raising of capital that does that. Sometimes you can raise capital by getting an exclusive deal with a singular customer who funds a lot of the stuff. You know, Apple does a lot of that. When Apple buys, you know, their products from someone, they will fund that business growing. Amazon does the same. Amazon, with all their distribution networks, they're the funding source for a lot of the distribution partners who run the trucks on the ground.
Wow. Let's talk about franchising a coaching business. I think you are the most successful, okay, in terms of franchising a coaching business. Because like most people think, oh, it's so tough to franchise a coaching business. Like it's easy to franchise maybe an ice cream shop or, you know, another a brick and mortar kind of business. But for a coaching business where your coaches will end up learning all your content and they can actually do it themselves, why would they, you know, still take on the franchise? Let's talk about that. What made you so successful in your franchising business, in your coaching business?
It's funny, you're asking good questions. You just made me think of something. So I had to email one of my CEOs and tell him, hey, I forgot this the other day. So I like that. I like that about your questions. Listen, when we started franchising, white collar franchising didn't really exist. There was expense reduction analysts and Jackson Hewitt, the tax guys. And so what we had to do, and the best advice I can give someone is no franchise agreement will ever be strong enough to keep people in your franchise. What you have to do is do things so well that they want to be in your franchise. You know, people in our organization make 3 times what the average business coach makes. So, you know, when you sit down and you look at it, they make 5 times what the average member of ICF makes. You know, so you have to sit down and start to understand that by being a part of this organization, you achieve so much more than you would, you know, if you weren't with us. You know, and let me be even more blunt. We would never accept a franchise partner that couldn't be a business coach without us. But, you know, they recognize the benefits too. I mean, just a simple thing. Our graphic design budget per month is more than, I think, $80,000. So just our graphic design budget. Could you imagine if you tried to do that all on your own out there in the marketplace? You just couldn't do it as a lone franchisee or as a lone business coach. You know, all of the budgets that we have because of our combined team makes it a whole lot simpler to do that. Now, that being said, what made us successful, number one, is selecting the right franchise partners. Always be very clear that you know, for a business to succeed, you got to pick the best people. If you pick great people, they'll build a great business, because you don't build your business, your people do. So you got to, for me, I have to pick great employees, great team members. And then they have to pick great franchise partners and even great master franchise partners in the different country territories. You know, like our master franchisee in Japan, we picked the right partner, so it's being massively successful in Japan. If we'd picked the wrong partner, we wouldn't have had success there, type thing. You know, same for Mexico, same for Spain, and all these different marketplaces. So when you look at white collar franchising, it's exploded now because of obviously what we did, and everyone's seeing it and copying us. And, you know, especially some of the other famous people out there that are copying what we do because they think, oh, it's so simple. Look at what Brad's done. It must be real easy. I'll tell you the difference though. Pretty much anyone can teach you to be a coach. What we do though, we don't teach our franchise partners to be a coach. Well, we do, but mostly what we teach them is how to run a coaching business. There's a big distinction between the two. Learning to be a coach, you'll make a few dollars. Learning to run a business coaching business, you'll get a massive return. That's the distinction between the two. And it's real easy to learn a skill. To turn that skill into a business that makes a lot of money is a very different set of skills. So that's probably the simplest way. Get the right people and teach them how to run the business, not just the actual skill.
So like, let's say after people learn from you for like 1 year or 2 years, or like, you know, if they can independently do it on their own, what's the value that they get that they would stay in the organization rather than leave the organization?
Alaric, if you honestly think anyone can join my team and learn everything from me in 1 year, you're insane. There is not a chance that one of my franchise partners will learn everything from me inside 20 years. You know, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just telling you, I have more business. I've forgotten more about business than 90% of the gurus out there that pretend to teach this stuff. Any guru out there that's telling me, oh, hustle and grind, or, you know, you just got to work hard, or punch your mom in the face. I'll punch them in the face. That is just the stupidest advice you can give any young person. Oh, you know, don't go to, look, you know, I see all this advice being given to people. Now, that being said, there's 2 main reasons people stay in an organization. Number one is community. If you build great community, people want to be a part of that great community. Okay. And number 2 is they're getting results. You know, if they're getting results, if they're getting value for money, they stay. If there's community and value for money, people stay. If there's no community and no value for money, people won't stay.
Okay, so take me through some numbers. Like, how much does it cost roughly, if you don't mind sharing some numbers, like to own a franchise
Yeah, it's very different across the world. So in different marketplaces, but let's just say it's around 100,000 to get into at the very base level in our organization.
Okay, so it's $100,000 for a franchisee fee. And normally, how long do people take to make back their franchisee fee?
Again, very different in all parts of the world, but usually within the first year, they've got 100% of their money back, usually. But again, that's different in every part of the world. And if this is not a disclosure for the legal purposes, my lawyer would kill me if I didn't say this. All information is disclosed in the franchise disclosure document. Please read fully your franchise disclosure document before making any investment in a franchise with me or any of my companies. Because otherwise I would get in trouble. You know, franchising is very controlled around the world because, you know, there's a lot of people out there that try and sell a franchise on something that didn't work. So governments got involved and said, no, unless you meet these criteria, you can't sell, you know? And so that's why we're very clear on the fact of this is what you're buying and this is what you want. So, but look, business coaching is a professional service. It's a white collar service. The hourly rate, if you were to try and work it, is better than most accountants and most lawyers. You know, so ultimately it's a great business to be in. But again, you got to build the business of the business, not just being a coach.
So like, what do they leverage on? Like they leverage on your brand, they leverage on maybe your training content and everything. And what else do they leverage on by being your franchise partner?
Well, any franchise has systematic methodologies for anything. So, you know, like we have a systematic methodology of how to grow a business. So we'll take people through that. We have a systematic methodology for coaching. What is the structure? We have programs that start at 100 a month and programs that go to 10,000 a month for a client. So there's so many things from that perspective. But I think if we look at franchise success for anyone that wants to understand how to build success in franchising, you got to build a model that works. And that model then has to be easily replicatable, not just replicatable, easily replicatable by a qualified person in any market in the world. And that's what makes it exciting for me. You know, our franchise partners in India, watching them coach business in India, or even more exciting, you know, we coach in 3 communist countries, Russia, China, and Vietnam. We're out there coaching in. So, you know, that's great to be able to bring entrepreneurial systems and flair to that. But I think what you've got to understand is that the business coaching business it's one of the most challenging ones there is for 2 reasons. Number one, you're running your own business. And all the while you're helping 10, 20, 80, 1,000 other people run their business. And if you're any good at it, you take responsibility for them getting success. And so you have to mentally be prepared and capable of holding the volume of people's businesses and their success in your energy field. And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it's not so much the time, but the mental bandwidth of like to make sure that they get the results.
Yeah, if I got, you know, 10 clients I'm working with today, I got to be on the ball for 10 clients today. My brain has to function for 10 different businesses, or 11, mine plus their 10.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about information versus coaching. Like you have a whole series, and I have the whole series, like instant referrals, instant franchising.
Books. 17. Hang on, did you get the latest one, the Pulling Profits? Did you get that one?
No, I don't have. Let me go and get my book.
Yeah. We'll have to get you to get Pulling Profits out of a hat, because I think that one's possibly, it's the most comprehensive book I've ever written.
I've got a few of these and I've got more. Yeah. So
good. Yeah, there you go. They're on the green screen.
Yeah. So okay. So let's talk about information versus coaching. Like, what's the difference? Like, why? Like, okay, in your books, I mean, it's full of content, it's full of strategies. Let's say instant advertising, full of strategies on how to advertise. Instant successful franchising, full of strategies on how to franchise. But why do people still pay for coaching when there's so much content readily available?
Well, there's too much content readily available. If you think about the level of content available right now, you can go on Instagram and you can listen to 400 gurus sprout about stuff. You know, you can jump on podcasts all day, every day. You can be on what's that, Clubhouse. You can literally sit on Clubhouse 24 hours a day and listen to people sprout about how they're more successful than you type stuff. You know, what we ultimately need is the ability to stay focused and take action. So there's 3 real reasons coaching works. Number 1 is that the coach can see the forest for the trees. They're not stuck on the inside. See, like for you in your business, you can see what every client needs to do, right? You can see it because you're not on the inside. But for your own business, there'll be 10 things that you're missing because you didn't see it, but your coach makes you focus on that. Like for me, I have 3 coaches, one for human stuff, one for financial stuff, and one for business stuff. And they ask me questions. See, you can't ask yourself a question you didn't even know to ask. And what coaches do is they ask you the right question to make you think about it, okay? So the second reason coaching works, first is that they're on the outside looking in. Second reason it works is usually they'll bring knowledge to the table that you don't have. And that's where it comes down to. The coach will ask you questions about things that you did not even know. I was just coaching a couple of young guys from Canada the other day, and they showed me their 10-year plan. And I looked at it, I said, that seems silly. They went, what do you mean it seems silly? I said, why would this not be a 3-year plan? Why is this a 10-year plan? And they all looked at me and go, well, that's just what we thought. I said, no, it doesn't seem reasonable that that should take 10 years. It seems like it should take 3. At most, it should take 5. So their whole world just shifted because of one question, okay? That outside. And the third reason coaching works is accountability. If I'm calling you every Monday, or if I'm getting on a board meeting with you once a month, there ain't no way you'll come into that board meeting without at least some level of panic in your throat and thinking, okay, Brad's going to be looking at everything I did this month. Did I do enough? Did I get there? Did I achieve the things that I said I would achieve? Did I hit the numbers? Did I do all of that work? So the accountability of coaching is possibly the most important aspect of it. But the accountability works both ways. It's like a cheer squad and a coach. You know, I'll make you run laps if you're not doing the work. I'll make you run the laps.
Yeah, cool. And okay, let's talk about public listing a coaching business. You know, I've Googled and researched like, okay, Tony Robbins' coaching company is not listed. I don't think your company is listed. I almost couldn't find a coaching business that is listed. Why do you think that's the case? Or do you think it's possible for a coaching company to get listed? It's
definitely possible. You can list any type of business. Yeah. It's not the type of business, it's the type of person running it. Okay. So for me personally, do I want to have a public company where I have a board of directors and shareholders and media telling me what I can and cannot do? No, I don't want to have a public company. I like having a private company. I like, you know, making decisions and doing what I want to do. And if I need to change, I change. I don't have to go to a board of directors and get permission to change and all that sort of thing. Now, in another world, in another type of business, absolutely, I would possibly, like if I was in maybe a construction business, I would list it. If I was in, you know, there's so many businesses I would list, but the coaching business, nah, that's more an extension of me. It's something that I see. And that's, you know, maybe Tony and I have the similar personalities in that front, that we like to be in charge of what we're doing and therefore not have to answer to a board of directors.
But do you think that a coaching business, if let's say with an entrepreneur who feels that they want to get public listed, do you feel that that's a suitable business model to get public listed?
Yes. Yeah. The coaching business is no different to accounting businesses and consulting businesses. And there's plenty of publicly traded consulting companies. You know, it's the same as, there's plenty of, you know, but in the end, you're going to want more of a partnership model than you'll want a publicly traded model, I think. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day we will be a publicly traded company. Maybe I'll go to that. I don't know. I'm not going to rule it in or rule it out. But again, the answer to that question is the same as the answer to the first one. You can take anything public, but you got to want to be a public company first and foremost, and you got to have justified reasoning for it being a public company. You know, what's the reasoning for it being public? There's no use just taking a company public to cash out. You're better off to go to a venture capital fund and have them invest and do it from that perspective.
Cool. So how do you make sure that your clients get results? Like, what are the kind of support that you give? Like, okay, like you said, maybe a accountability call every Monday, or what do clients get what do business owners get? Like those business owner clients who engage your action coaches, what do they get as a form of support? Yeah.
The way you ensure accountability, or the way you ensure results, is number one, you make certain that you have a great systematic methodology. Number two, you get great people on your team and have them as franchise partners. And then number three, you have a feedback loop. In everything you do in business, there should be a feedback loop. Our feedback loop with our clients is every 3 months, and we have an annual. So, every 3 months we get a feedback loop from our clients as to what they're achieving, what they're getting, what their level of success, their level of happiness with the program. And then once a year, they fill in the annual Net Promoter Score questionnaire for us as well. So, and we do the same with our franchise partners. We get them to fill in every year an annual survey that tells us their level of satisfaction with our franchise. And we're pretty happy that we're listed in the legends of the Franchise Business Review 10 years in a row in the top 50 franchise satisfaction awards. That's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Actually, this was our 11th year in a row.
So what do the clients get? Like, do they get an online course portal where they can access content, and then like every Monday they have a call with the coach, or how does it normally work?
All the above. Well, it depends. Our bottom level program is called Book Club, and people start a book club because they're a micro business and all they want to do is start learning and reading. They can go to our peer-to-peer coaching organization, which is Profit Club. And then they go right through to our group programs, our membership programs, our board programs, right through to one-to-one coaching at the highest of levels. And at the one-to-one, you can go through from anything to how to franchise your business, how to exit your business. There's all sorts of different programs at that level. So, it really comes down to because we're such a big organization, we have a program for every business owner that's out there. We deliver online materials, but we also deliver offline. Most of our coaching is done offline, although we do a lot of it virtually these days, obviously, for virtual and viral reasons. That's the way a lot of it's done. But that's what our business is designed to be capable of doing. So
cool. And have you thought of retiring before?
I've tried to retire. Yeah, I tried to retire when I was 26. I tried again when I was 35. Nowadays, I work 2 days a week. I work Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's it. And Wednesdays, I'll create content if I want to, but I don't work Mondays. I don't work Fridays. I have 4-day weekends every weekend. Usually Wednesdays, I'll take the day off, but it just depends. If I'm in content mode, I'll be writing or videoing or doing something of that nature.
Cool.
But
so
yeah, I can run 11 companies in 2 days a week. So
you can
run 11 companies in 2 days a week.
Cool. So how do you do that?
Well, I have great CEOs. You build great people. If you build the people, they build the business. So that's ultimately what it is. And I'm just the coach of my CEOs. So I coach my CEOs. Some of them need coaching weekly. Some of them need coaching every 2 weeks. Some of them need coaching every month. The longer they've been with me, the more likely it is that they're coached every month rather than every week.
And do these CEOs own equity in your business?
No, I own my business.
So you own 100% of the business, but you pay them a salary as a CEO.
Well, and they get a pretty dang good bonus structure too.
Cool. All right. And from raising so much of capital from so many businesses you've done, have you ever been afraid of like being bankrupt, or like has that ever bothered you and kept you up at night before? Hello?
No, don't borrow. No, it doesn't. Don't borrow more money though than if it makes you not sleep, then don't borrow it. Don't do things that make you. Look, ultimately, there's risk I'm willing to take and there's risk I'm not willing to take. I'm not willing to put our whole family's financial future on the line for one deal. That would just be stupid. That wouldn't be smart. You got to weigh up the options and make the decisions.
And so what's your game plan for like the next 10 years?
Get all my kids out of my house so I can not have to deal with them. They can all be off in college and be done. I have 5 kids, so that's the thing. Listen, to finish up here, I think that ultimately you know, there's a simple formula. If people jump on my YouTube or Facebook, there's a formula I can teach you, or on my Insta. It's dream, goal, learn, plan, act. Jump on one of those and learn that formula. It's like a 5 or 10 minute video on those. Jump on that, enjoy it. And yeah, look forward to everyone catching up on some form of social media. Keep in touch with me, and yeah, come join our Apprentice Billionaire. It's only $7 a month. It'll be fun for everybody.
Sounds good. Can you share your IG handle, your Facebook, your YouTube?
It's all Brad Sugars or Bradley Sugars, BRADLEY Sugars or Brad Sugars. You can find it pretty dang easy. I make it very hard. You know, we don't do any funny names or any of that sort of stuff. It's just straight up me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I've learned so much. And for those of you who enjoyed this, make sure you like this video, comment on what's the 3 biggest things you've learned, reach out to Brad, and make sure you join his $7 per month member. I mean, $7 per month. All of you should definitely join it. Make sure you join it. All right.
Take care, buddy. Thanks for doing this. Keep doing a great job. Bye for now.